Just wait a goddamn minute. Why am I so late to the party? Why didn't I know about Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa, and Teyana Taylor? Baby, what? Oh, you're gonna love me. That shit looks so divine. It's almost look like they was made for each other. Them motherfucking pictures look like they're supposed to be in an art museum. Like, that shit looks so fucking French kiss. I am here for it. I am here for it. That gotta be the reason why Lori was like, nah, I'm cool on him. Because you know Lori is not turning out no new baby. She would have ate it up real quick. Oh, I'm just here for it. They look so damn good together. Like,
it all started with the sound of a door slamming so hard that it rattled the picture frames on the hallway wall. Neighbors peeked through blinds, some already fumbling for their phones, ready to capture the chaos spilling out onto the front porch. And there she was, Teyana Taylor herself, standing in the doorway with her hands shaking around the straps of a black leather duffel bag. She didn't say a word at first. She just looked at Aaron Pierre, who was standing with his jaw clenched so tight you could almost see the muscles twitching along his neck. In that moment, nobody could have guessed how far this was about to go. How this quiet house in the suburbs was going to become the stage for the breakup everyone had been whispering about for months. The sun was barely up, the sky painted with pale streaks of dawn, and yet it felt like the day was already over before it began. Aaron's voice cut through the air like a blade. He didn't scream, but there was something about the way he said it. Calm, final, not even a hint of regret. He told her, "You've embarrassed me for the last time. We're done." He didn't blink as she stared back, her mouth slightly open like she was about to protest but couldn't find the words. Her daughter, still in her pajamas, was peeking from behind the banister, little hands gripping the railing. Even from the driveway, you could see tears pooling in that child's eyes. Nobody ever expected this ending. Not after everything Teyana had risked to make this relationship work. Not after the sacrifices and the headlines and the endless speculation. But in that split second, you could feel that this wasn't just a fight. It was the last fight. And for Aaron, there was no walking it back. Just months before, the two of them had looked like the picture of a fresh start. Everyone remembers those first red carpet photos, when Teyana appeared on Aaron's arm after her separation from Iman Shumpert. People said she looked lighter, like a woman who had finally chosen her own happiness over all the old baggage. They posted pictures on Instagram, all filtered in warm golden hues. They captioned them with inside jokes, little nods to shared dreams. For a minute, fans almost believed love could be that simple. That someone who'd been burned so badly in public could somehow rise up, try again, and actually get it right. But behind those polished smiles were already the cracks no filter could fix. Close friends were the first to see it. They noticed how Aaron, usually so private, seemed constantly irritated when Teyana posted anything about them. He'd scroll through the comments, shaking his head, muttering that she made everything a circus. He wanted the love but none of the spotlight that came with her name. He never said it outright at first, but it was clear he didn't want to play stepdad either. He'd grown up differently, with a mother who believed that a man should always come first, that children were something you took on only if you were absolutely sure. And Aaron was never sure. Teyana tried to ignore it in the beginning. She thought if she just gave him time, he'd adjust to being part of a family. She thought he'd learn to understand that she wasn't going to hide her life to protect his ego. But the more she tried to prove that she could balance everything, the more resentful he became. Friends remember dinners where Aaron barely looked up from his phone while Teyana tried to keep the conversation light. They remember her laughing too hard at his dry remarks, desperate to fill the silence. She wanted him to feel important, to feel chosen. But in the end, all it did was make her feel small. Then came the night that changed everything. Teyana had been away on a short work trip, just 3 days in LA to handle meetings and shoot some promo footage. She thought Aaron would be happy to see her when she got back. But when she walked through the door, she found him standing in the kitchen, arms crossed, phone in hand. He didn't smile. He didn't ask about her trip. Instead, he asked her why she was still texting Iman. Teyana was stunned. She said it was about co-parenting, nothing more. She said she'd always kept the boundaries clear. But Aaron wasn't having it. He scrolled through screenshots someone had sent him, Old messages taken out of context, twisted into something dirty and disloyal. He read them out loud like he was reciting evidence in court. Every word felt like a slap. She kept repeating, "It's not like that," her voice cracking as she tried to make him see. But Aaron's eyes were cold, and every time she reached for his arm, he pulled away. Their daughter came downstairs when she heard the yelling. She was too little to understand exactly what was happening, but she could feel that something was wrong. She stood there with her stuffed bear pressed against her chest, watching her mother's face crumple. Teyana tried to usher her back upstairs, but the little girl wouldn't move. That's when Aaron raised his voice for the first time. He said he was tired of pretending, tired of being second to everyone and everything in her life. He accused her of treating him like a placeholder, of needing a warm body to pose with for the cameras. Teyana started to cry, not because she believed any of it, but because she could hear how much he did. When Aaron finally told her to pack her things, she didn't respond. She just stood there, clutching her hands to her chest. He repeated it, louder this time, his face flushing red. "Pack your things," he said. "We're done." That was it. The words hung in the air like smoke, filling every corner of the house. She turned away so he wouldn't see her tears, but he didn't follow. He didn't try to take it back. He just stood there, arms folded, as she climbed the stairs. Upstairs, Teyana moved like she was underwater, folding clothes she hadn't even had a chance to unpack. She kept wiping her face with the back of her hand. Every so often she'd look around the bedroom, remembering the nights she thought this was going to be her fresh start. Remembering how she'd let herself believe that loving him could be enough to erase everything that came before. By the time she came back down, Aaron was standing at the front door, waiting. He wouldn't look her in the eyes. Instead, he was scrolling through his phone, ignoring the muffled sobs coming from the hallway. She wanted to say something, anything, but the words were gone. So she hoisted her bags over her shoulder and stepped out onto the porch. Paparazzi were already waiting. Someone must have called them, maybe one of the neighbors, maybe an assistant who tipped them off for a fee. Camera flashes burst against the dim morning light. Teyana didn't cover her face. She didn't hide. She just kept walking to her car. The little girl tried to follow her, but Aaron stepped in front of her and shook his head. Teyana mouthed, "It's okay, baby." Even though nothing about this was okay. Once she was inside the car, she put her hand over her mouth and let herself cry. The engine hummed beneath her, but she didn't drive away right away. She stayed there for several minutes, staring at the house where she thought she could finally be happy. It was only when Aaron closed the front door behind him that she shifted into gear and pulled away. That night, Teyana posted a single message to her Instagram story. "You can't break a woman who rebuilds herself every time." It was simple, but it said everything. Within an hour, her comments were flooded. Some people called Aaron heartless. Some blamed Teyana, accusing her of clout chasing. But most people just said they were heartbroken for the little girl who had to watch her mother get thrown out. Aaron didn't stay silent for long. The next day, he posted his own statement. "I wish Teyana well," he wrote, "but I have to protect my peace." No further comment. People read between the lines, dissecting every word. Was he really wishing her well? Or was he trying to spin the story before she had a chance to share her side? As the headlines spread, Aaron's sister unfollowed Teyana on social media, which only fueled the rumors. Fans started speculating that the family had never accepted Teyana, that they'd been pressuring Aaron to end it for months. Some claimed the breakup had nothing to do with Iman's texts, that it was always going to end this way. Others said Aaron had been feeling overshadowed by Teyana's career, her fame, her past, that he'd resented how every move they made became tabloid fodder. Meanwhile, Teyana tried to focus on her children and her music. She booked studio time the following week. She was spotted out in the city, looking tired but determined. People close to her said she was devastated but relieved that the uncertainty was over, that she'd spent too long trying to keep something alive that was never going to work. As the days rolled on, the internet refused to let this story fade away. Social media exploded with fans passionately picking sides, turning the comment sections into battlegrounds. On one side, people defended Aaron, insisting he had every right to walk away if he felt disrespected or unappreciated. No one should stay where they aren't valued, they said, painting Aaron as the wounded party just trying to protect himself. On the other hand, a loud chorus stood firmly behind Teyana, arguing she deserved so much better. They pointed out how much she gave, time, love, trust, to someone who was never truly ready or willing to give the same back. The debates raged on, fueled by every new rumor, every unfollow, every subtle social media jab. But in the middle of all that noise, one undeniable truth emerged. This was the end of something that once sparkled with hope and promise. And maybe that was the cruelest part of all. Not that the relationship ended, but that it was never really what she thought it was. The dreams, the plans, the quiet moments that felt real. They were illusions in hindsight. A beautiful story that never quite reached its happy ending. The image that stays etched in the minds of most people is heartbreak in its rawest form. Teyana, driving away with tears streaming down her face, her daughter's tiny hand pressed against the car window, reaching out to Aaron as he quietly closed the door behind them. There was no script for that moment. No cameras could capture the depth of that pain. The silent scream of a love that was slipping away. It was the kind of heartbreak that lingers long after the flashes stop, long after the last headline fades. Even now, months later, the questions keep coming. Could they have saved it? Was there ever a chance for a real second act? Was there a moment when either of them could have stepped back from the edge before the doors slammed shut and silence swallowed their last goodbye? Or was this ending written in the stars all along? A collision course destined to break their hearts? If you've ever wondered what it feels like to watch a fresh start crumble in real time, this was it. This was the story of how two people tried to outrun their pasts and failed. And maybe the real lesson is that no amount of love can fix a foundation built on fear, resentment, and unresolved wounds. So tell me in the comments, was Aaron right to end it the way he did? Or did he throw away something that could have been beautiful if he'd only been willing to fight for it? Make sure you subscribe for more real-life stories that remind us all. Sometimes love is just not enough.